The French philosopher and Jesuit priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin coined the phrase, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." But what does it mean to actually be spiritual beings having a human experience? And how does this relate to our everyday life? Because our everyday life experiences are born of our perspectives. If our perspective is that of the ego, we're limited to what we can see, hear, feel, taste, and smell. We're limited to these five senses and the physical world. When our perspective is that of the ego, we're submerged in the ocean of our minds without even being aware of that fact. We know what this feels like because we become really invested in our stories, because these are the stories of our lives. So we then become attached to certain outcomes and experiences. Maybe even we chase these outcomes and experiences only to have them dissolve into smoke as we inch closer. The ego is deluded. In the cosmic cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, the ego knows and sees only a small part, yet it believes it understands the whole. If our perspective is that of the soul, we're not limited to these five senses. Our knowledge is more expansive, and our experience is that of connection. Connection to all life, and connection to a divine force, God, source, that we can feel but we can't see. The soul consciousness is able to rise above thoughts and emotions and see them for what they are, moving energy of different frequencies. The soul knows truth not with words or stories or explanations, but in the heart, where the wisdom resides. The soul is beyond words, beyond form. The soul is beyond the understanding of the linguistic mind that the ego uses. The ego doesn't see the soul. It can't. For it can't be known by the five senses. It's formless. The human being ego experience is an experience of form, whether the form of a body, the form of a thought, or the form of an emotion. These are vibrations that are slowed down to take shape of some kind. The human experiences life from within this body, and that has thought and emotional energy running through it at all times. It's no wonder we get caught up in it. We're swimming in it. And we need it. We need the ego to help us navigate the world of form and the sea of vibration, because this is the human experience. But the challenge becomes when the ego convinces us that that's all there is. The ego and the soul. Both consciousnesses are available to us at all times. So the question becomes, which is our primary consciousness? To embody the soul is to bring the soul into the forefront in all of our interactions and perceptions. When we're doing this, we talk to ourselves kindly. When we tell ourselves we're doing our best, we're doing this when we slow down and breathe, when we choose to surrender rather than control. We are of the soul consciousness when we love without conditions, when we cease to judge ourselves and we cease to judge others, when we put ourselves in other people's shoes. We cultivate soul consciousness when we sit in silence, when we do nothing but watch our breath and listen to the whispers of our intuition. When we reside in gratitude and we experience true thanks and appreciation for our lives as they are right now. We reside in the consciousness of our soul when we trust that all is as it should be for the greatest good of all concerned.